Hi, my name is Greg Schmidt. I'm the product manager for the Apollo 6500 Gen 10 Plus Systems. Thanks for joining me today. Well, we have a brief intro on our technology and why you might be interested in using it. I'm going to start with a little discussion around how we are moving into a new era of computing, the exascale era of computing. Fundamentally, data has been growing over the past few decades dramatically. IDC, for example, expects that data is going to grow by about 61% to 175 zettabytes. And as all of this data explodes in our organizations and our businesses, there's value to this, but it's such a huge amount of information that it's hard to get that information turned into usable, practical insights to drive what we do and how we do it. And at the same time, I'm in the HPC team, but we see that HPC has become the on-ramp for artificial intelligence, because the best new technology for pulling information or pulling value out of this information pool we have in front of us is artificial intelligence. But it's not easy. HPC technologies have always been aimed at better, faster, more efficient. And the AI work, the deep learning training and such, is really hard to do. It takes a massive amount of computational complexity, and the HPC technologies naturally fit in there and enable you to get value out of all this data. Now, HPE is very well positioned to help not just you, but all of our customers around the globe. We're the world leader right now in high performance computing with about 37% market share. And there's a reason for that. We have a very broad high performance computing portfolio. And we continue to invest in the technologies that are going to be needed in this exascale era. Because of those investments, we've won the first 3 large exascale systems in the United States. And our goal is to take this technology and take this value, more computation for less dollars, bring it into the commercial space and help enterprises and customers all over the globe to reap the benefits of exascale with HP today. One of these top workloads that really can utilize massive amounts of computational capabilities from the high performance computing is the artificial intelligence realm. A decade ago, it wasn't even on the radar. Now it's a top priority for most CIOs. And as you ask them, what's really critical for you, and where are you going to be investing, and what are you going to be working on over the next couple of years, it's really clear. The investments in artificial intelligence, deep learning in particular, the training and the inference, is probably going to grow by about a factor of 3, 2.7 over the next 4 years, right? And the reason for this is because people are finding value in it. They're doing work that is helping them out. Let's take a look at a couple of examples of how the Apollo 6500 in our last generation, Gen 10, helped several customers. I'm going to kind of focus on Texmark. I think it is a beautiful case. Texmark is a major petrochemical refining company in the Houston area. They have done a massive Internet of Things edge kind of implementation. And at the heart of it, at the root of it, what they were trying to do is figure out how do all our systems run? How do we measure those? When do we have to repair things? Can we get ahead of repairs and replace a valve or something before it goes bad, right? So predictive maintenance and just general utilization and safety of their infrastructure was a huge concern. HP worked with them and several other partners to really map out the entire facilities, get it all metriced up, and then apply deep learning to get ahead of problems, to see what was coming up ahead of time, and save themselves about 50% on their maintenance costs. They also were able to defer. I think this is fantastic. They were able to defer one rate rise from their insurance company by demonstrating we've improved our ability to predict and control and prevent problems in the implementation. It's a great success story. We've got a lot of material out there, and if you're in Houston, we might even be able to get you a facility tour. They're a great company that we're working closely with. Similarly, we've worked with New York University in Abu Dhabi and Dato Steel to help them utilize deep learning and improve their businesses. Now, Gen 10 was a great platform, but the technology for doing high performance computing with GPUs and accelerators and artificial intelligence, it doesn't slow down. Every cycle, we've got to bring out a better platform, a new platform, because well, those GPUs are getting more powerful. They're also getting more hot. They use a lot of energy. So we're going to be introducing here today with you the Apollo 6500 Gen 10 Plus. It is our solution for accelerated performance for these GPU intensive workloads. At the same time, not every customer needs exactly the same, GPUs or the same amount of memory or the same configurations, the same operating system. So we've designed this system to be very flexible. You can mix and match processors, you can mix and match your GPUs, and you can get what you need for your workloads. All at the same time, bringing to the table HP's long legacy of high performance, at the same time delivering a system you can count on that's resilient and secure. So it doesn't, it reduces your cost of ownership. I'll start off with the chassis. In Gen 10 Plus, we're going to have one chassis that will support a variety of different configurations. We can do the NVIDIA HGX A100 in either the 4 or the 8 GPU solution. We can also do PCIe accelerators because you never know what's going to come around the corner in accelerators. It usually starts out in PCIe and people want to try it. Or they want to do massive inference engines and they're looking for a PCI accelerator there. And at the same time, in Gen 10 Plus, we're going to be introducing with AMD, the AMD Instinct MI100 with their second generation of Infinity Fabric. Fantastic GPU, more choice for our customers, NVIDIA, AMD, whatever you want. Now, as the GPUs continue to evolve, in years past, a typical PCI GPU is on the order of 300 watts of power. We're now looking at 400 watts of power from these GPUs, and there's no reason to suspect that it won't continue to increase. So one of the things we've learned over the years is that GPUs need three things, really. You need to make sure that they have more power than they need because they'll go through spikes or changes in their characteristics. They'll draw down more than their average power load. If you don't keep them fed with that power at all times, you lose efficiency. At the same time, as they're using all this energy, there's a tremendous amount of heat that comes out of there. So cooling is a big factor on every time. And HP's worked on this generation, particularly around the cooling and the power. We've got 6 full N+N redundancy, whether you're using the NVLink GPUs or using PCIe GPUs. We have massive amounts of cooling with 15 fans in this chassis you're looking at here. And rock solid PCIe integrity and lockup on the signal so that you know that your GPUs are communicating rapidly and cleanly back and forth with the system for maximum efficiency. Now, as I mentioned, power is going up, and we're thinking the max power draw on this system is around 6 to 6.5 kilowatts in a single chassis. For a lot of customers, that's a challenge. So HP has power capping technologies to help you, limit the power draw of that chassis. Say you're getting in close to your rack limit of 24 kilowatts, for instance. Well, you can put in a limit on 4 chassis and lock them at maximum of 6 kilowatts. squeeze in there and be sure that you're not going to go past your 24 kilowatt rating. Or alternatively, you could cap at the, at a rack level and control at the rack level. Individuals can float up and down, but we'd control the entire rack load power. Get a little more capacity, a little more compute capacity into your energy capacity. We're also seeing a trend with customers because of these massive power draws on GPUs to move to direct liquid cooling, to move the power out of the facility, not in air, but in water, free up more of their air cooling capacity for other applications. HP and Gen10 Plus will be introducing our first end-to-end factory installed, HP delivered, HP supported direct liquid cooled solutions for our customers. That's a major innovation, and as more and more customers move to liquid cooling, we're there to help. Taking a look at the first instantiation of this box that'll come out the door, we'll be starting to ship in December of this year, the HP ProLiant XL675 Gen10 Plus server. Fundamentally, we take the chassis and we put at the bottom of it a system board, a 2P AMD based system board. At the top 3U will hold the GPUs. So the HGX A100 by 8 from NVIDIA with the latest Tensor Core GPUs, up to 16 PCIe GPUs if you use the single wide GPUs, or up to 10 double wide GPUs. And that allows us to do the AMD Instinct MI100 with Infinity Fabric. On the bottom, as I mentioned, 2U bottom is a compute tray. It's a 2P AMD EPYC-based system. No limit on our power there. We have, as I mentioned, plenty of power and massive amounts of cooling. So up to the top bin CPUs to enable you to get the highest frequency for workloads that are frequency dependent, and you can eke out a little more performance gains from your GPU investment. Or maybe you just need more core counts so you can manage more threads on a massive inference box, for instance. Second out the door will be our HPE ProLiant SL645D Gen10 Plus server. Now, once I've got that chassis and I can cool up to 6.5 kilowatts, I can split it, right? And a lot of customers really don't need 8 GPUs in a single platform. Their workloads are more sized to 4 GPUs, particularly traditional HPC customers, right? So on the right side, we're bringing out our first HPE dedicated NVLink enabled server that's focused on delivering the best performance per dollar for 4 GPU systems. This will support the HGX A100 4 GPU or for the AMD Instinct MI100 with the Infinity Fabric connector on top so that you can get the fabric for the GPU communications. Again, we'll support PCIe, 4 double wide or 8 single wide PCIe, and pretty much any power that comes out. The bottom, and we got 2 1P servers in there. AMD EPYC, again, no limits on the CPU frequency or core count. We got the 280 watt capacity. We'll do what you want for your workload. So high level again, bringing out a new system, the Apollo 6500 Gen10 Plus system. We'll start early on in December this year with the 675 to do the HGX A100 by 8 in a 2P AMD system. We're on the right, coming out early next year, the first calendar quarter, the XL645D, 2 independent servers, completely independent inside of the same chassis, sharing the power, sharing the cooling, but otherwise logically independent nodes, focused on 1P 4 GPU systems. Very exciting time from HP. We believe that this infrastructure will deliver for you your choice of the accelerator technologies and CPU ratios that you need to match your workloads most efficiently. At the same time, as I mentioned earlier, HP is working on these Exascale systems, and we'll be bringing in not just InfiniBand or high-speed Ethernet, but also HP Slingshot to provide you a choice of Exascale kind of fabrics. All of this wrapped into a system that can handle the top-end CPUs, high-powered GPUs, and we've really built the system and designed it for future GPUs up to 500 or even more watts of power. So you've got a system that can work for you well today and deliver accelerated performance into the next generation. At the same time, we've recognized that customers need flexibility. Our Gen 10 system was a great product, but it was 1 2P, 8 GPU server. That was its core focus, right? Here in Gen 10 Plus, you can have a 1 processor system, 2 processor system. You can do 4 NVLink GPUs, 8 NVLink GPUs. You can do 4, 8, 10, or 16 PCIe GPUs. You got AMD and NVIDIA both for accelerators, and all this wrapped in with the selection of options, memory, CPU, operating system, etc., that you expect from HP. We'll work with you to design a system that meets your workload needs at the most economical point. All of this is, of little use if you can't power it and cool it. So we've really worked hard on making sure that power and cooling and the system itself is easy to get into, easy to manage, easy to maintain. So with the introduction of our DLC, direct liquid cooled solution, we're setting up customers that want to take the next step into higher power density realms. And we've designed this in a very modular design, so you can pull out the GPU trays or pull out the CPU trays and get rapid access, easy to fix, easy to manage, easy to update, easy to maintain. All of this, of course, is wrapped up with HP's comprehensive server security management solution, best in class, ILO 5 with the Silicon Root of Trust, and other HP management features. How are customers using this? I gave a couple examples earlier, but the key problem is that for artificial intelligence in particular, these models are getting more accurate, but every little iota of improved accuracy that they squeeze out of the models is coming fundamentally with a complexity of that model. And the model complexities have been increasing close to an order of magnitude every year. So you need more power to handle bigger models and get better results. Whether you're doing, prescriptive maintenance or video analytics to see what's going on in, traffic or et cetera, or you're working on speech to text, natural language processing, or automated call center responses. It doesn't matter. You need more power to handle these more complex workloads. The one I really think is interesting is the autonomous driving. And HP is working with companies around the globe to deliver the next generation of compute to solve this troublesome, heavy, vexing problem of how do you make a car drive itself. I think I'm going to be very proud to tell my grandchildren down the road, I helped build the infrastructure that made cars drive themselves. If you think about it, the leading cause of death for young folks nowadays is traffic accidents. And autonomous driving has the opportunity of taking this terrible dilemma. We've got to go places, we've got to do things, we have to take our kids places, but it's the most dangerous thing that we do with them. HP is working with companies around the globe to automate driving, and I'm looking forward to a day when, getting in a car is one of the safer things you ever do, not one of the riskiest. Now, I mentioned earlier, some of the things we're doing to help with customers. I'd like to go a little deeper into, the direct liquid cooling story a bit, because it's really hard with GPUs. I mentioned that a single server nowadays might have 6.5 kilowatts of maximum power. That's a real challenge for a lot of data centers. And I've got more and more customers investigating direct liquid cooling so that they can pack in more servers in their facility and save their air cooling for their more generic compute loads. In Gen 10 Plus, HP's brought out a custom direct liquid cooled capacity for the NVIDIA A100 GPUs, our top bin AMD CPUs. We cool the GPUs and CPUs. This pulls around 80 to 85% of the power out of the system through water, allowing you to increase the power densities of your racks, free up that stranded cooling, air cooling, and use it for additional standard compute. But what's really special about our solution here is that it's HPE from one end to the other. We'll build it in our factory. We'll help you deliver it and install it and get it up and running in your facilities. And if you have any problems with it, HP support end-to-end. So it's a complete end-to-end HPE solution for increasing your power capabilities in your data centers and taking care of these massive power loads caused by accelerated computing. Another thing that we often hear our customers concerned about at HP is security. The digital age is a wonderful thing, but it has enabled people to access systems from around the globe. Making sure that your systems are secure and protected from one end to the other is something HP's put a whole lot of investment in. And we have rightfully claimed the world's most secure industry standard servers. Our Silicon Root of Trust starts at our factories. We watch how they're built. We have standards around how they're built. We make sure that they're built to those standards and nothing gets in to change or modify it all the way from factory build out to you, so that your systems are safe and secure. Other problems that customers often have is what am I going to do to take care of all these servers? How do I manage that? Some customers really enjoy, doing it themselves, rolling their own support. Others want a tailored experience to maximize their efficiencies of their staff and have kid glove service. Wherever you are in your journey on taking care of your investment in your IT infrastructure, HP can provide you a customized point-next services solution that matches your needs. For the ultimate as-a-service experience, I suggest you take a look at HPE GreenLake. With HPC as a service from HPE GreenLake, it'll allow you to use as-a-service cloud economics with on-premise hardware, but it's more of a pay-per-use model, right? So you don't need the same massive capital investment up front, and you use the infrastructure as you need it. Now, why I think this is interesting is because a lot of folks, as they're getting into the artificial intelligence in particular, they really struggle with how do I size what amount of high performance computing I'm going to need to answer this problem. How much storage, how much compute, how do I put them together, et cetera. With HPE GreenLake, it provides you an outstanding opportunity to get started very rapidly. And if you find that you need to expand and change what you're utilizing, GreenLake's there to help you, whether it's it gets you an accelerated computing platform that you can pay for what you use, get the services you need, built-in technology refreshes, and the ability to expand to meet your needs, which oftentimes are hard to predict up front. For more information, please follow the directions on this slide to get in touch with HPE and see how we can help you with your IT needs, not just today, but in the future as we move into the Exascale era. Thank you.